All right, and welcome to the factoring practice video. Hopefully you got a chance to do all of these in class or at home, and you're checking your answers at this point. You do have an answer key, but this will actually show all the steps. So if there's one or two of these or more than that you are confused about, hopefully this will help. So for number one, the first thing that I notice is there is a GCF. So the GCF is m. So I'm left with m to the fourth power plus m to the second power minus 6. And if you notice, that is a choice, and I saw a lot of you in class actually chose C, but C is not my answer, because it does say factor completely. So if I go through and factor more, well, I'm saying what multiplies by itself to make m to the fourth? Well, that's m squared. And then what multiplies to make negative 6 but adds to make positive 1? Remember, there is a 1 there even though we don't write it. So that would be positive 3 and minus 2. So your answer is D. All right, let's take a look at 2. 2 says which is incorrect. So incorrect, you're trying to go through and figure out which of these is not factored correctly. You could do this a couple different ways. You could factor all the expressions, or you could multiply out the expressions on the right-hand side to see which ones create the expression that's trying to be factored. That's one nice part about this question, is you can kind of do it two different ways, whatever way you're more comfortable. Since we're doing factoring practice, let's do it by factoring. Choice A is difference of two squares. So I know it's going to be a plus and a minus, which we have. I need to have something that multiplies by itself to make 4k squared. That's 2k, so we're in good shape. What multiplies by itself to make 49 is 7, so that's factored correct, so not my answer. B is difference of two cubes, so we use SOAP, which works, so we have the right signs, same, opposite, always positive. What multiplies by itself 3 times to make a cubed is A, so that's right. What multiplies 3 times to itself to make 8b cubed, so that's 2b, also correct. So now we can figure out SOAP, which works, so B is not my answer. Let's try and factor C. C is grouping. So if I have m cubed plus 3m squared minus 4m plus 12. We actually did one like this in class, and you'll see this hopefully brings back a memory for you of class. GCF of 4m and 12 is 4, so I can take out positive 4 or negative 4. Well, if I take out negative 4, I'm going to get m minus 3. These don't match. That's a problem. If I take out positive 4, I'm going to get negative m plus 3. These still don't match. That's a problem. Therefore, C is not factorable at all. So we can't have a factorization, so that's the only one that doesn't make sense. You could factor D. You'd have to do grouping. You'd separate it into two groups of 3, and it would factor to that expression. All right, let's look at 3. 3 is similar to 1, just without the GCF first step. So we have to say, well, what multiplies by itself to make x to the fourth is x squared. Then we have to say what multiplies to make positive 36, but adds to make negative 13. Well, that's negative 4 and negative 9. Again, that's a choice, but not my answer, because I can still factor this to x plus 3, x minus 3, x plus 2, x minus 2. The order in which you put all the terms doesn't matter. The next one is another grouping example. So if I group the first two terms together, the GCF is x squared, which would leave me with 3x minus 5. The second two would be negative 16, which would give me 3x minus 5. Then I could go through and take out the GCF of 3x minus 5, which leaves me with x squared minus 16. Notice a choice, but again, not my answer, because I can still factor this x squared minus 16. 3x minus 5 can't factor, but the x plus 4, x minus 4 is the factorization of that x squared minus 16. So we wind up having choice C. Number 5 is another example of grouping. So if I group the first two terms from the second two, the GCF is x squared, leaving with x minus 2. Negative 9 for the second two, again leaving us with x minus 2. We always want to have those same two things there. Group us together, x minus 2, x squared minus 9. A choice, but not the answer, because I can still factor that. So you notice these Regents questions always have those tricky choices, so we want to make sure that we're eliminating the incorrect choices. All right, so we have choice B as my answer. Number 6 is a pretty straightforward question. All right, we have GCF of 2, leaving us with 16 minus 9y squared. That's a choice, but not done, because I can factor that. That's difference of two squares. 16 and 9 are perfect squares. So I have 4 plus 3y and 4 minus 3y. Now if you look, choices C and D almost look identical, but these two parentheses are different from each other. All right, subtraction, the order in which the terms in the parenthesis are, matters. So the answer here is choice D. Choice C would be what we call a distractor answer. For 7, first thing I notice is there's a GCF of 2x squared, which leaves me with 6x squared plus 10x minus 6. That's a 5. Divide by 2, duh. Right. So now we have to say, all right, I have to try and factor this. We're going to use the AC method here. So what we have to do is multiply this first and last term, and that gives me negative 36. So now I'm asking myself, well, what multiplies to make negative 36 but adds to make positive 5? So that's going to be 9 and 4. I'll do grouping there. 3x gives us 2x plus 3 minus 2 gives us 2x plus 3. So then I'm going to have 2x plus 3, 3x minus 2, and we can't forget about this guy. He comes all the way down into the front. So that would be choice D. Right away, just from the GCF, we know it's not A and B, so that's one benefit of multiple choice questions. 8 is again grouping, x squared, x plus 3, positive 2, x plus 3. So we wind up having x plus 3, x squared plus 2. That was similar to one that was on your quiz. Number 9, factor completely. GCF is 3x. That leaves us with 2x squared plus 11x minus 21. AC method, I have negative 42 here. So we'll multiply this by itself to make negative 42, or I'm sorry, we'll multiply this to make negative 42, but adds to make 11. So that's going to be 14 and 3. So I have 2x squared plus 14x minus 3x minus 21. Then I'll do my grouping technique here. 2x, x plus 7, negative 3, x plus 7. So I have 3x, x plus 7, 2x minus 3. That's probably as hard as they would get. Right, on your next full period quiz, I'd expect something on that level. Number 10 is grouping again. So I have x squared, x minus 6, minus 25, x minus 6. So I have x minus 6, x squared minus 25. I can still factor, right? So if this was on a test, we'd want to show all of those steps to get to this last answer, because x squared minus 25 is difference of two squares. Almost done here. Let's see, 11. 11 is a AC method question, so that's negative 10. So my 2x squared is going to stay. We'll multiply to make negative 10, but adds to make negative 3. That's negative 5 and positive 2. Do my grouping technique. X, 2x minus 5. Positive 1, 2x minus 5, right? Remember, if there's no GCF, it's not GCF 0, it's GCF of 1. So then the common factor there is 2x minus 5, and then we have x plus 1. Last one. So again, we have this x to the fourth. Nothing really changes. We just put the first term as x squared instead of x, because when you multiply x squared times itself, that gives you x to the fourth. Factors that multiply to make -7, but add to make +6 are +7 and -1. Not finished, because x squared plus 1 can change to x plus 1, x minus 1. That's it, and hopefully this video is helping you get through this. All right, remember, factoring is an important concept. It's going to keep coming up through the year, so if you're confused, please come and see me for extra help.